What's up, everybody? We're back. We're dingers with the boys. That's boys Z. We're both feeling good.
Yeah,
our voices back.
Finally, yeah.
Yep. But we're the Colorado kids here today. We're going to talk about Colorado sports, and with me, as always, Kyle.
Yo, what up, Tim? It's great to be back. My voice finally sounds right. A little bit better. I'm finally getting over this cold that Tim got me, but
I feel like it's been like 3 weeks. Finally.
It's kind of just been going around with everybody, but
yeah.
Glad to be back. Last week we talked about, and I forget what we even talked about.
We talked about the All-Star games.
Oh yeah, All-Star games.
Yep. We talked about a little bit of the football and everything, what we liked about the All-Star games.
Yeah, currently while recording, the Kansas City Baltimore game's going on, so it's going to be exciting to see who's going to the Super Bowl next week.
Yeah, I think it was KC was up 14-7 when we walked down.
Boo.
So, yeah, come on, Ravens. we don't want the Chiefs to win. Being Broncos fans, definitely not. But this week we got some fun stuff for sure. First, we're going to do some headlines, and Doc Rivers is in as Bucs coach. They fired Adrian Griffin, and this is 43 games into the season. They fired him. They were second in the Eastern Conference.
I know.
They were second.
Milwaukee hasn't been nearly as good defensively as they were last year, but, you understood that with trading Drew Holiday around.
Exactly.
Or away, so there's no...
You have some all-stars. You obviously, you have Giannis, you have Lillard. They've never played together. 43 games in, you're doing pretty good, and you fire your coach. Yeah. Something has to be going on, and I know there's been rumors that players lost faith in him or he was bullying Giannis's brother or something like that. But something's got to be more, I feel.
I feel like it's got to be more, and it's probably something that we'll never know.
Yeah.
Being fans, which is sad, but
I also don't think Doc Rivers is going to do that much. He's a great regular season coach, even sometimes in the playoffs. However, usually when you get to those playoff games with Doc Rivers, I feel like he struggles because he struggles making adjustments to other teams. He's very stubborn in that way.
Yep.
And so in a 7-game series, you obviously have to make adjustments. And you saw that when the Nuggets beat the Clippers when they were down 3-1 in 2020. Came back and beat them, and it's I think Doc Rivers has done that. I can't remember one other time that he was up 3-1 too.
Wasn't it last year with Philly?
Was it last year? Yeah.
I think they were down 3-1 versus Boston, if I remember right, and Boston came back.
Yeah, we'll see. But I guess Austin Rivers is getting back in the league. He's going to be playing for the Bucs again. I'm just kidding. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
But yeah, I think this move just screams desperation in my eyes. It's all right, you probably are, I don't know, you're upset that you probably even hired Griffin in the first place.
They're probably mad that they fired the
last coach.
Gosh, I can't think of his name. It's Bulldozer or something.
Yeah.
It's not Bulldozer, but something like that.
Which that was a surprising move in itself. But there was reports that Giannis didn't like Nick Nurse, and that's who Milwaukee was high on, so they went with Adrian Griffin instead. But just to come middle of the season, basically halfway through the season, and fire the coach when they're second in the Eastern Conference, it's just shocking. And
I don't understand it, but the NBA's been going crazy too. The scoring in the NBA lately, what is going on? In the last week, Luka had 73, Embiid had 70, Booker had 62, and Towns had 62.
Yep.
What is happening?
It's nuts. There's no defense in the league this last week. Basically, everybody, maybe they're just getting ready for the All-Star game and All-Star mode. I don't know, and then what's even crazier is Karl Anthony Towns and Booker both scoring 62, and their teams still lost.
Yeah.
That's even crazier that you have a player scoring 60-plus, and you can't get a win.
Yeah. But it's just, when somebody's scoring that much, usually it's just going to them, so you don't have an offense too.
Yep.
But Luka scored the 73 on the anniversary of Kobe Bryant's death as well, which is kind of crazy just in itself. And I don't know if that had anything to do with like pumping him up or anything, but that was kind of crazy.
I think out of all the high scoring, I personally think Luka's 73-point outing is the most impressive.
Because he had like 90% true shooting percentage, which is insane. But yeah,
especially like versus Atlanta, who's a playoff team or playoff cusp team. Yeah. Like Embiid scored 70 when it was versus the Spurs. Like
he said, and the last like 5-6 minutes, he didn't need to be in that game.
No.
But it's like they wanted to get him to like 70 points and stuff. Because
that's how Embiid is.
Yeah. And he's an amazing offensive player.
Yeah.
When he wants to score.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Caitlin Clark this last week, too. I don't even know if you saw this. I know we kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. But they lost. Iowa lost to Ohio State last Sunday, 100-92 in overtime. Huge loss, It was in Ohio State. Well, fans are running onto the floor. Caitlin Clark ends up colliding with a fan storming the court.
Yeah.
Does this take where they're going to take storming the court a lot more serious when somebody like this, like something like this happens?
I don't think there's a way to get away from this.
More security?
Like you're not going to stop a crowd from storming the court, especially in a big win like this. I think it's more just it's the player's job to I think kind of get out of the way, or
it's
maybe more security for the players. But so maybe it's the security getting ran into instead. But
it's funny you say that too, because I know you haven't seen this.
Yeah.
But you need to go watch it. And anybody listening needs to go watch it. And it's like I love Caitlin Clark. Love her, watching her play. I think she's going to have a great career in the WNBA. However, watching her do this, she almost went into the fan. And she flopped, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And obviously I wasn't there, I wasn't part of it, but just watching the replay, she almost went into the fan. I think she was just so mad, and then she almost made a flop out of it, but I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe she's trying to make it more into what it is, but I won't comment too much since I haven't seen the clip.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm glad she's okay. Fans okay.
But yeah, it'll be interesting, going forward, how they react to this. Yeah. How does the NCAA react to this? Because I know player safety is a big concern and big thing. So
yeah, but I don't know. It's like you said, it'll be interesting to see if they do anything or not. But big news out of Colorado.
Yep,
Todd Helton. Hall of Famer.
Woo!
Finally gets in.
Finally.
6 seasons. He's got in. Him and then Adrian Beltre and Joe Mauer. Those were first ballots. Also got in the Hall of Fame. But Todd Helton, man. It's just great.
It's so cool. I've seen so many videos on my feed.
Really quick.
On my feed about Todd Helton and just the career he had. And I think he's been snubbed from the Hall of Fame for a few years now.
Number one, baby. Todd Helton. You're just listening. I grabbed my Todd Helton bobblehead.
Oh, I love it. Tim's got swag all over the place right here, but
I had to give him some ups,
But yeah, like I was saying, Todd Helton, I think he's been snubbed out of the Hall of Fame for 5 seasons now. And the biggest reason is because he played at Coors Field.
Yeah.
A lot of people wrote that as a disadvantage to him, I guess. Or because it is such a hitter's park. But man, he's an amazing ball player. And
do you think he ever took steroids?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't think so either. I was talking to my father-in-law the other day, and he does think he did. At some point, he thinks he did, just because of how his career ended and just different injuries and stuff at the end. It'd be interesting if something comes out. I hope not, because he's the Todd father, He's he's Mr. Rocky and stuff.
There's so much things about him in Coors Field, and
I love him. I met him once, and
especially there's not much going on for the Rockies.
We needed something.
Yeah, we needed something. Yeah. So this will ride for however long it takes to get back into the playoffs, or
I know on August 17th, your birthday, they're going to have a Todd Helton Day, so I might go to that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I'm sure that'll be a blast and everything.
Yeah.
They'll probably have more bobbleheads. Maybe we'll get another one or something. Yeah. But, yeah, it's fun. Still talking about Colorado. This episode, we're going to talk about mostly Colorado sports. That's kind of our bread and butter, honestly. We love Colorado sports and just seeing kind of like an update on all the sports going on right now. Yep. The Avalanche, they're playing great. They're 32-14, 3-0 to overtime losses, 67 points. They're top of the Central Division. Do they have a chance at the Stanley Cup this year?
I think they always do.
All right. I know they have a chance. Yeah. Realistically, do you think they can win the Stanley Cup? Though
I don't know. Realistically speaking, I think we're going uphill kind of thing. Not having Landeskog is a huge hurt for Colorado, and
I don't even know if it's with Landeskog not. I think it's the leadership almost.
Yeah.
Not even like the playing. Yeah. The playing, but like the leadership.
Yeah.
I think that's big for him.
Yep. And I think I don't know, especially like last year, we were rolling in, and then we just kind of halted, and we got tired, or what else? There's just so many other good teams that we're likely to face again, like Seattle. And
I think we overlooked Seattle last year, too. Because every single game, even when we were down, we'll come back. We're all right. Even Game 7, it was all right, we got it. Yeah. We're in Game 7. We're going to win.
Agreed.
It just seemed I don't know, I don't want to say that they let it go to their head winning the Stanley Cup the year before, but maybe a little bit, and Kraken being a new team, we got this, we're better than them. We know their goalie, we know what his weaknesses are and stuff, but, Seattle definitely came in.
I think Seattle always plays us super, super tough.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I don't think Avalanche will ever not have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, especially with
at least right now.
Especially with obviously, how McKinnon is playing.
There will be a time where it cycles back, where it's all right, we're one of the worst teams. But McKinnon, like you said,
man, he's playing out of his mind right now.
Oh, it's so fun to watch. And even if I don't watch the games, I find myself going to look at the box score just to see if he got a goal or not.
I'm keeping track of how long his home point streak will go up. I think it's at 25 games.
It's
right now. And another crazy stat I saw is everybody talks about Connor McDavid for Edmonton and how he's the best player in the league. But something crazy in the last calendar year, so since January 1st, McKinnon actually has.
But January 1st, the year before, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the year before. McKinnon actually has 7 more points. I think 7 or 8 more points than Connor McDavid.
Interesting.
But everybody talks about Connor McDavid like he's the clear-cut best player in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be McKinnon.
I think McKinnon should win MVP for sure. The way he's playing and everything. And it's tough, though, because we have Rantanen, who's playing great.
Yep.
We got Makar, who's playing great. And it's hard to say. It's not necessarily the stats you do. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But for me, the most valuable player is if you, literally the most valuable. It doesn't matter if they score 5, or I'm thinking basketball, but it doesn't matter if you score a goal, an assist every single game. But if you take that player off, will the team drastically change?
Yeah.
I think it would with McKinnon.
Yeah. I think so too.
Because he's kind of that leader that Landeskog we're kind of missing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he necessarily wants to be, but he's almost been thrown into that.
And I think I kind of wonder if McKinnon would be playing even better if Landeskog was here. Because it seems like McKinnon is definitely getting into his prime, and seems like every single year he's better than the last. And so it is kind of wondering, kind of cool to wonder that, hey, if Landeskog was here on the ice, would McKinnon be doing as good, or
I don't know.
Would it not be as good, or something like that?
It's something to think about for sure.
But
I think both of their numbers will get retired, especially Landeskog too. And I think Rantanen possibly could too.
Yeah.
When it's all said.
I mean, because he's a crowd favorite too.
Yeah, the Moose. Yeah, Moose is loose,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. We went to the game against the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
Which that was a little rough.
Yeah, rough game.
We had fun. The crowd seemed to be pretty into it.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes with hockey, the crowds just... You can get really excited for a while, but then hockey can be slow at times that there's nothing really happening. But I thought it went pretty good. I know we have gone to like Mammoth games now. You have some season tickets. I went to one game.
Yep.
The crowd at those games, I wish was like hockey.
Yeah.
Those games are insane. And
those are a lot.
The Mammoth aren't doing the greatest this year. They're 3-4.
Yep.
They're in the standings. They're like the middle to like the bottom, kind of close to the middle, but they're a little further down. So hopefully they can kind of step up. That's what they've been doing the last few years, and then they kind of step it up to a big win streak. But they're 73 goals for. They've got 84 scored against them, so they definitely need to score more. That's a big thing. It's not even necessarily that they're giving up a crazy amount of goals, but what I love about those games, those are my favorite games to go to.
I agree.
It is so fun, even if you're down. The crowd is into it. The announcer is getting people into it. It doesn't matter if they're on offense, defense, what. But if you have not been to a Mammoth game, go check it out.
Or like if you're not even in Colorado and your like state has a local indoor lacrosse team, go to it. I promise you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's like
a blast.
It's weird because I was talking to somebody about this the other day, like what your favorite sports are to go to. Mammoth is actually probably my favorite. Like it's just so fun. It's almost like a football atmosphere, but not as many drunk people.
Yeah.
It's like I think that's what like they want at football, but the NFL there's so like with the tailgate and everything, so many people that are drunk, they're just yelling obscenities, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And at the Mammoth, it's very family friendly as well.
Exactly. So there's a lot of kids in the stadium. Everybody's got their cowbells.
Yeah. Yelling, get in the box, penalties and everything.
But
yeah, it's fun.
And I also like about the Mammoth games too is the refs kind of just let them play a lot more.
It could be really too that we don't know all the rules.
Yeah, it could very well be that. But I like to think that they're just letting them play.
Yeah,
it's like you don't really see that.
Hard hits.
They have some hard hits.
Well, because it's different than hockey, whereas like in lacrosse, you can get your feet under you, and you're not like sliding over the place or anything like that. And it's like, man, there's some like hard hits, and whenever they fight, these are fights.
Yep, like, I've seen like bench clearing brawls, and then the refs just kind of like let it go for a few minutes, then break it up, and then all right, give out your penalties, and let's get back to playing. Like,
I used to go to so many, and I know you did too. But it's been a while since I haven't.
But yeah, this is the first year that I've got season tickets. I got it with a buddy, and I'm super glad that I did because they're a blast.
After going to that, you couldn't go to that first game. I went with him, and after going to that, I was like, man, maybe I should have went in.
Next year.
But it's a little harder with Natalie and everything. But it was fun though. I'd like to go to a couple more this year with you guys for sure. But Broncos, we're obviously football. It's over.
Our season's over.
Super Bowl's coming up. But now it's looking to the draft, the future. Is Sean Payton actually going to turn this team around and everything?
Yeah.
We didn't have a great season. We were 8-9. However, I think that was better than what people thought before we got Sean Payton. Because you never know with Russ. I thought Russ played pretty good this year. Actually.
I think he played
We've talked about that before, sure. But just overall, I know we had some like key injuries and stuff too. But I could see us trading some big names, and
I think so too.
I mean, because we don't really have much draft capital too.
No.
We have the number 12 overall pick, and then we do not have a second round pick.
Yep.
And then so we don't have one until the third, and I don't know exactly how many we have, but I think we only have 5 or 6 draft picks, so we're gonna have to like look around a lot.
I could see this being the start of a rebuild for sure.
Sure, it's got
maybe not like a huge rebuild, but definitely like a rebuild.
You almost got to
trading like Judy, maybe maybe I could even see
I don't think
trading.
Judy wants to be here either.
I don't think so either. But either letting Judy walk or trading him to get some kind of draft capital, whether I don't even know what he'd be able to get, but
yeah.
But trading Judy, and then like it's interesting. Tim Patrick will be, I think, on his last year next year, which
if he plays,
he's a great wide receiver, but he's always hurt.
Yep.
So
and major injuries too. So you never know how he's going to come back.
So yeah, you never know. Like you don't know what's going to happen with that. But I honestly think like if I had one like draft person to target this year, I want it to be like Kool-Aid McKinstry. I don't know if we can even get him. It's partly because of his name, but I just think he's a great player. And I think Broncos need to get back to like the two dynamic corners that can just lock down any wide receivers and just build on the defense.
Yeah.
But
you don't think QB?
I'd rather, I think, wait on QB until Shedeur Sanders is available next year. That's my personal like want or hope.
Yeah. But I like Bo Nix. Or not Bo Nix. I mean, he's not
Penix.
Penix.
Yeah.
I like Michael Penix Jr. And I don't know if it's just from like the story, like how many injuries he's had, and he's came back, and he almost retired, and us going to see him in the Pac-12 championship. I like Penix. I think it's very realistic that we could get him at 12. I think they could look at him. I personally want Joe Alt. He's an offensive lineman. However, I think he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I'm also a little biased because he's a Notre Dame player.
Yep.
And so I think it would just be cool. We already have
Notre Dame. I feel like there's so many holes to fill with the Broncos.
Yeah.
So really, like, I think it's going to take a few years to fix. But especially, like, with getting rid of Russell Wilson, it seems like.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of maybe good QBs. So if we did take a QB, I think Penix would be at my number one as well. I've liked what I've seen from him.
Just realistically at 12, too.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's some other ones we probably
obviously, we're not going to get any of the top 3 guys.
Yeah.
I don't see us trading up to get any of those guys. Yeah. I hope we don't get Bo Nix.
The problem is, I could see us trading up. I don't want us to trade up because you're if you trade up, you're obviously going to lose probably some other draft picks or some players and like probably young players. And it's just like, dude, why do we keep doing this? Like, I don't know. Realistically, though, for next year, do you think we even have a shot at playoffs?
I would probably say no, just thinking. But I think a realistic 7-8 game winning or like season, I think is probably right around where we'll fall.
Which kind of stinks because then we're like mediocre again.
I actually wish
Division 2 is so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, Harbaugh just went to the Chargers, and I think the Chargers have a crazy talented team.
Even the Raiders got better. Like, they started playing a lot better with their interim coach, who they just signed full-time now.
Exactly.
So
and then
they're going to be good. The Chiefs, always good.
Dude, I don't know anymore. It's like...
So, I don't know.
I don't think they're going to play good, and then they might go to the Super Bowl, you know?
But yeah, I almost wish, like, if Broncos do start sliding early, just start tanking. Like, just go for a better draft pick.
I don't want into that, like, 7, 8, 9 win season. Because we're going to be right back where we were. It's like, you don't even have a top 10 pick.
But yeah, I definitely think, like, though, the key for the Broncos, is going to be, I think we need to go back to defense. And I think our defense is going to be easier to build than our offense, especially with getting rid of Russell Wilson, maybe getting rid of Judy, like Tim Patrick not being here. Like
it's going to be an interesting offseason because they got to do something at QB though. At least maybe they'll pick up Flacco again.
Maybe they'll get Baker Mayfield.
We should have a few years ago. Now looking back, the way he played this year.
Yeah, obviously all you got to do is just let him have his swagger. And
I don't like Baker, but
he's good. But
it might, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll, like I said, bring back Flacco.
No,
Second stint.
Hopefully not.
The second coming.
Hopefully not. No. He had a good stint with Cleveland, but...
Don't think he can do it again?
No. Not for a full season.
Yeah. But. Let's take a break here, and when we come back, we'll talk Nuggets and do a few other things, but let's just go ahead and take a break, like right here, and hear a word from our sponsor.
Uh-oh, they're stuck in a lurch. Come on down to Colorado Hat and help them clear out their merch. Colorado Hat Company, soon to be vacating the Colorado Mills Mall. Deals, deals, deals. Everything must go. Tell them the Dinger sent ya.
We're back. That was a word from our sponsor, Colorado Hat Company. They only have a few days left. Definitely go in and check them out.
Yep.
Tell them the Dinger sent you. We're talking Colorado sports. We've talked about the Broncos, the Avalanche, the Mammoth, a little bit of the Rockies with Todd Helton, but our main one,
Yep.
what we know the most about, our go-to, we want to talk Nuggets.
Yeah, I think we're having a great year this year. We're 32-15, technically fourth in the conference, I think.
Yeah, it's weird because in the conference, too,
yeah.
Technically they have the Clippers ahead of us. However, we've played 3 more games than the Clippers.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 more wins and 1 more loss. So
that is kind of weird.
I'll tell you, like, our percentages, I think theirs is like 68-2, we're 68-1. So they have them above. But really, we're top 2, top 3 team in the conference. OKC gives us a little troubles, but the Nuggets, they're playing great, Like saying we don't get an injury,
yep,
we have a very good chance of repeat this year, I think. The way Jokic is playing, and then Jamal, sometimes he has tough, but when he's healthy and he's shooting, he's great. MPJ has stepped up this year. He's got his rebounding and defense tremendously stepped up. And I know we've talked about that before. AG, he's a beast, he's a dog. And then the rest of the team, I mean, there's so many players, just the way they're playing. Michael Malone's doing some
and then we should get stuff. We should get Strother back here soon. He's been injured, but I think he's been able to be watching just off the court and hopefully learning some stuff. But
I remember reading something with him, and somebody asked him like what it was like playing with Jokic, and he was saying that no matter what you do, if you make the right play, you're going to get the ball.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about if he's going to give it to you. If it's the right play, you're going to get it. And if you move like with Jokic and the way he wants it, like he loves those passing to the baselines and stuff, you're going to get the ball. He's going to find you. It does not, he very rarely misses somebody that's open cut.
Yep.
And so I think it's great for him. And like you said, he's probably just watching on the side right now.
Exactly. So I think it's been a lot of fun. There has been a few games where Denver's just kind of came out flat, and it kind of seems like scheduled losses. And
the Knicks,
everybody called that a scheduled loss. I think maybe going into it wasn't, but after how we started, they're just kind of like, let's just get ready to go back home and whatever. But
we've got to talk about this because it happened yesterday. Embiid.
Dude. It's honestly I'm not an Embiid fan. I know you aren't either. But it's at this point, I don't understand how Philly fans definitely got to be upset at it too, right?
Bruh,
come on. And especially with how late of a scratch it was too.
20 minutes before game.
It was nuts. It's almost
Yeah.
It's and I know Malone said that I think the NBA is going to investigate into that because it almost seemed like Philly was making it seem like Embiid's playing because the game plan changes drastically.
Oh, well, and I think that's why the game was so close because everybody was like, oh, maybe the Nuggets aren't as good. It was a close game and stuff. But when Embiid gets scratched, that, like you said, game plan completely changes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from Embiid. I do not like him. I will never cheer for him. I respect him as an offensive player. I think he, honestly, if we're talking about strictly scoring, he's a better offensive player than Jokic.
Yeah. I agree.
Overall, he doesn't find people like Jokic does and everything like that. Jokic makes the best basketball play.
Yeah.
Embiid makes the best Embiid scoring play.
Yeah. Especially with basketball being a team sport too, it's like Embiid sometimes doesn't play as a team.
Yeah.
He plays for himself.
It's so frustrating that he got scratched again. And it's funny because I listen to this stuff and read, and everybody's like, "Oh, Embiid has such a great record against the Nuggets and against Jokic." Like, dude, he doesn't play in Denver.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. Who knows? He could have won in Denver, but we won't know.
We'll never know.
He's scared to play in Denver. That's where part of me wants it to be the finals matchup.
Yeah.
Is he going to take off 3 games, 4 games?
Yeah.
It's just...
I don't know. And I just
so frustrating.
I don't know. Any Phillies fans out there, any 76ers fan out there, are you also upset by seeing Embiid not play in Denver?
Yeah, because we want to see these matchups.
Is this something that Denver fans were just making up?
Yeah.
It's because, I really want to know.
Yeah.
I think, if I was a Phillies fan, if I was a 76ers fan, I would be super upset.
Yeah, because you want to see that matchup.
Especially since they just played in Philly. Embiid had a great game against Jokic. Philly did end up winning.
Yep.
So you're basically saying we can't recreate this.
That was such
an
awesome
in the towel
matchup.
Kind of thing. So
that was such a great game between the two, Jokic and Embiid. That game, and it was oh, nice. We get it again in a couple of weeks. And
then not even to mention Tyrese Maxey also sitting out, and Tobias Harris also sitting out.
Yeah,
it's to add those two as well, which it's not super surprising. Usually when Embiid sits in Denver, I think in the past one, it's usually Maxey and other players are sitting as well, and it's basically just Denver versus Philly reserves or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just it's kind of embarrassing, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Man. It's so frustrating.
And I think a big reason why Embiid maybe hasn't won these big playoff games too is because you can tell he's picking his matches. He's picking, I think I can score 35-40 versus this team, so I will play.
I wish I was a fly on the wall in their organization if it was Embiid, because they talk about this. If it was Embiid or if it was the coaches or the owners or what,
Well, apparently they were blaming the training staff, I think, for keeping Embiid out last night. I don't know for sure. I guess I could be wrong. But
I think they're all ridiculous. I think it's the most ridiculous thing, and I know the NBA's trying to implement this stuff for the MVP and stuff.
Yeah.
I think you have to play 65 games to be considered any of that.
Now, so it's interesting.
I hope Embiid gets 64. Yeah. I hope he's averaging 40 points a game for the end. Everybody's he's the MVP, but he gets 64 and he can't get it.
Yep.
That's what I kind of hope.
Which, it's kind of crazy. He can only miss 6 more games before he's ineligible. Which
is it 6? It's only 6 more?
It's literally 6.
Which, dude, if you get injured for rolled ankle, you're missing probably 3-4 games or something
Exactly.
You got half the season almost, a little less, but
you
still got 30 games about?
I think they have 39.
Okay, so half the season.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it was that he could only miss 6
games. Yeah, because he did get injured like that because he was going too hard or whatever, ended up rolling his ankle, had to sit out a few games. So
that's interesting.
That was a huge turn of events.
People will go wild.
But I think this is why they put in that rule.
Exactly. Yes, but he could have played, man.
Exactly.
I mean, I play basketball way more hurt than these guys every weekend. But
we're also not making millions of dollars.
That's why I think they should be playing more. It's their job.
I think almost the requirement should go up next year. It says 65,
you have to play 70, 75,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. That's crazy, 6 more games. I don't know. The Nuggets, do you think they're going to make a trade before the trade deadline? We're a few weeks out. Do you think they'll keep the core or maybe just something small? I know that there's been some whispers that people want Bruce Brown back. But if we're doing that, you have to trade a big contract.
Yeah.
Because he's getting $23 million a year. you're not going to just trade like these small like contracts and like equal to it. You have to like. So I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think it will happen either.
I could see us going after maybe another defensive like wing or something like that off of like for the second round or something, but I don't know for sure. It'll be interesting to see if the Nuggets end up making a trade or something. I think there's going to be. I could see a couple big trades this year.
I think there
just
could
in the
be
league in general.
In the league, like across the league, there will be big trades. I just don't know if the Nuggets really have the ability to trade. Going into the year, I would have been totally different. I would have said, yes, I think for sure. I think Zeke Naji is going to be traded this year. I still could see it, but him not playing, he's not really
going to take him
upping his value. His contract got a little bit worse because we re-signed him. So it just makes it a little bit worse of a trade, I think. But, I mean, still, like, the team could want him, but...
It'll be interesting. I mean, I think we're in a good place right now. I don't think we necessarily need to make a trade.
Yeah.
I think there's some teams that are going to make some trades, but for us to make an impactful trade, we would have to trade one of our top, like, 5-6 guys.
Which
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want...
As much as MPJ drives me crazy, right now he's playing great, and it's just the gel is like they're gelling all great. You know, he's getting where it's like he knows his role in it and everything. But
I think MPJ has actually been one of the biggest reasons why
he's playing amazing,
doing so good. So,
like we said, his defense, his rebounds.
I think if we did trade him, we'd need a lot.
Yeah,
we'd need first round picks. First round caliber player.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe all-star.
Yeah.
Or whatever, so
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think it will either.
Maybe in a few weeks we'll kind of revisit right before the trade deadline, see what we think. But this happened a couple weeks ago. But we also have to talk about this. And we had to talk about Embiid. Carmelo Anthony comes out. He says that the Nuggets were kind of being petty, given Jokic number 15. And in his word, like, I don't remember exactly how it was said, but it was like, pretty much in his words, it was Jokic, like they made Jokic take 15 almost. It wasn't like that Jokic wanted it, they made him take it. Do you think that we'll be retiring 15 for Melo? Because Jokic, obviously.
Yeah.
Melo and Jokic. Will there be 15 for both of them?
Right.
And do you think it, and what do you think should? Like, well, that could be two different things. Like, you could think that they're not going to and you think they should, but I know what's in my head, but let me hear what you think first.
First, right now, I think where I stand is I don't think they will retire a Melo jersey. Just from what he's said about it, what's came out about it, I think he's overreacting greatly about this. It's a number, man. Nobody's taking away your legacy in Denver and what you did for the organization. What I want to happen, sure, I'd love to see Melo's jersey retired. I think he is a big reason why Denver has kind of revamped this organization and
we wouldn't have Jamal if he didn't get traded.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had Jamal. We wouldn't have had... I don't know. I don't think we'd be where we are if it wasn't for Melo. I also think Melo leaving... A lot of Denver fans hate Melo for leaving. But
still.
Which I have never held that grudge. I think Melo leaving was because Melo wanted to win. Denver was going into a rebuild. They decided, hey, we're going to trade away Chauncey.
Well, they traded Chauncey with Melo.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting to see if Melo, because if Melo would have been like, no, I want to sign a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
We weren't going into a rebuild. You know, if you're signing that.
Yeah.
So I think we almost went in, but with what we got back, it ended up not being a rebuild, really.
Exactly.
Like, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
For me, and I had to talk about this with my in-laws a couple weeks ago. They're on the other side. I don't hold a grudge to Melo leaving anymore.
Yeah.
At one point, maybe. I was frustrated. I loved Melo. 3 Melo jerseys. You know, he turned around, like, especially since we've been alive, he completely changed the Nuggets organization.
Yeah.
It was bad before, especially the year or two before. It was so bad. And there were actually talks about relocation for the Nuggets. And then Stan Kroenke bought it, said for 25 years we won't relocate or anything. But just how bad they were, there was talk about relocating out of Denver. For me, I think they should. I think they should give Melo his 15. And do I think the Nuggets were a little petty? Yes. I don't think they made Jokic take number 15.
I don't think
because
so either.
He wore 15 in Serbia as well.
Yep.
But they also gave it to Anthony Randolph before. So he was number 15 before, like after Melo left. If you have a player like that, which, all right, you're most likely you're going to retire his jersey. Yeah, we didn't make it to like the finals, didn't win or anything, but he changed our franchise.
Yeah.
And I think for the better. You say nobody can have 15. I'm not saying if it's Jokic, Anthony Randolph, and a lot of people are like, oh, they didn't realize Jokic was going to be who it was. That doesn't matter to me. Yeah. If it's a first pick, an undrafted player, or second round, whatever, you don't give them that jersey because you know that it's going to retire. Yep. And obviously, this has nothing to do with Jokic. Yeah. Jokic is the best player in Denver Nuggets history. I truly believe that. Like, better than Alex English, David Thompson, Dikembe, whatever. You know, I think he is the best player that's ever played for the Nuggets. And I think he will continue. Who knows how long he's going to play. He'll continue and, like, he'll be breaking records and stuff. Has nothing to do with Jokic. That's what people bring into the arguments, though. They're like, oh, yeah, but Jokic is better. I agree. I think Jokic, like I said, is the best player. But that doesn't take away what Melo did here.
Yeah.
And would it have changed if he would have left that summer in free agency if we didn't trade him? Because he could have done that.
Yeah.
He could have just not said anything and then just, all right, I'm not re-signing. I'm going to leave in free agency.
Yeah.
Or would it have changed if, all right, the Nuggets didn't want Melo anymore. Oh, we're going to trade him. You know? Yeah. I think it could have been changed completely if he would have came out like when we were in the finals or something. And it's interesting I wish I would know, and a lot of people I know say that, oh, I'm sure Melo could come back if he wanted to, but maybe the Nuggets organization don't want him to come back too, you know?
Yeah.
Now, with all that being said, I'm now on the fence of if he's going to get his number retired because of the stuff that he keeps coming out and saying.
Exactly.
Because it's not helping his case.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he meant to Denver. We all know what he meant for Denver. But after, he got traded 13 years ago or something?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people that hold a grudge.
Exactly.
And in sports, people hold grudges and everything. But
yeah. And then
I hope to see both him and Jokic get it retired.
Yeah, that would be cool,
you know?
I think. One thing I will bring up, kind of like to piggyback off what you said is, and again, this could be Denver's side of not allowing him to do this, but why hasn't Melo came to a game?
And that's
like what's been like we were in the finals last year. I don't think Melo wants to see a finals game. Like, why wasn't he here?
Because he's been to other ones.
I don't think it would be Denver saying, no, Melo, you can't come to this game. Like, if that is the case, okay, I'd be shocked. Yeah. But
I wish he would have came out in like a Jokic jersey.
Yeah.
It would have been huge.
It's like, I think Melo could be handling this way differently and almost trying to, I don't know, win back the people that hold grudges.
If he would have came out in a Jokic jersey, all would have been forgotten.
I think so too.
It would have been like, oh yeah, everybody would have been cheering and everything, you know?
But yeah, it's almost like Melo was taking this whine, cry, complain approach, but not doing anything on his end.
Yeah.
Or I'm not hearing anything that he's doing on his end, at least.
Yeah,
it just seems like, hey, this is a two-way street that, hey, I know, like, you want your jersey retired, but I think another thing that goes with retiring jerseys is, what are you doing for this organization even after you retire?
Yeah.
I mean, you see other you see other teams that players that had their jerseys retired, they're still showing up to events. They're still showing up for autograph signings and all this stuff. What is Melo doing?
Yeah.
Like, so does he really deserve that, like, retirement? Does he really deserve that honor? And then just another thing is, what really does retiring a jersey mean? Is it?
I think it's just legacy.
Yeah, but it's like at one end, yeah, it's legacy, but at the other end, it's literally just a number. It's literally just a jersey in the rafters that, I don't know. So it's like, I think it is a overreaction, but yeah, I don't know.
We could keep talking about this for a full podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let us know what you think for sure. But let's move on. Let's do our picks for the week. Last week's picks, again, I didn't do great again. We did Chiefs, Bills. Kyle picked the Chiefs. I picked the Bills. Chiefs won 27-24.
Yep.
Next one, the Lions beat the Bucks 31-23. Both picked the Lions, so we both won that one. Yep. It was crazy to see that the Bucks didn't take a timeout with like 30 seconds left or whatever. But that's a whole other thing. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. And then the one.
Dude. I just got to touch my gut.
I'm watching this game. Baylor lost to K-State 58-54. Sundell and Gregory both had 16 points, and that's what I said that they had to step up for them to win. They did step up. However, the first half, Baylor's going to the paint. They know the center's out, going to the paint, they're winning. Second half, especially the fourth quarter, they stopped going into the paint. And I wanted K-State to win. But I'm like, what is Baylor doing? You're getting away from like what you were doing. Go to the paint and go like to the freaking rim, But I don't know. They ended up losing by 3. Baylor did. Awesome. Ema. Woo woo. But K-State ended up winning, but you should have had a 3-0.
Yeah, I would have had a 3-0, but I did switch it at the end. Yeah. But oh well. Live and learn.
This week we're going to do all basketball, 2 NBA, 1 college. We got first Nuggets versus Bucks tomorrow night. It's at home, at Nuggets. I'll go first. I got to go with Nuggets.
Yep.
I think this is going to be a very good game. I don't think it's just like, Nuggets for sure.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks could come in and beat the Nuggets, honestly. But with that being said, I think Jokic and Giannis are going to have a great matchup. I'm sure AG will probably be guarding Giannis. That's my guess. I think he'll probably be doing pretty good. I think a big one's going to be Jamal versus Lillard. But I'm going to go Nuggets on this one.
Yep. I think also to note, this will be Doc Rivers' first game as coach for the Bucks.
I didn't even think about that.
So I think that's going to be a huge factor. But I think Denver will win as well. I think we match up pretty well against the Bucks. We have in the past historically as well. We usually play against them pretty well, especially at home. So I think and also Denver's kind of had a few like rest and like the 76ers game was a little closer, but that seemed like a rest game kind of still.
Seemed like they didn't take it too much seriously.
So I think they're going to win.
But next one we got Lakers-Celtics. Old-time rivalry.
Yep.
You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first. I feel like you might pick the same, but I think I'm going to go Celtics. I think Lakers just haven't really looked that good past few games. Like, really ever since the in-season tournament, they've kind of been dipping, and I think Celtics are just too good for them.
Yeah, they had a big game last night, Lakers and Golden State, double OT, and I thought it was going to go into triple OT. But if this was in LA, I probably would have picked Lakers. However, I'm going to pick the Celtics as well, especially the Lakers coming off of a double overtime game. LeBron's older, might not recuperate that fast, I mean, I know they play Thursday, but I'm going to go Celtics too. They're just a powerhouse at home. I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, they've only lost 2 games now.
Yeah,
at home. So
our last one, we got college game. Big one, number 5, Tennessee versus number 6, Kentucky. It's in Kentucky. They're both 15-4. You want to go first? You want me to?
I'll let you go first on this one.
All right. I'm gonna. I want Tennessee to win. I do want them to win. However, I think I'm going to go with Kentucky. Just it being, I know, it being in Kentucky,
going to disown you.
I know, and I want Tennessee to win. I think it's going to be a close game, but being in Kentucky, I think they're going to just get that little hump over. Tennessee's got that guy Dalton Connect. He went to Prairie View up in Thornton, just 10 minutes from us right now. He's averaging 19.5 points per game. Love to see the Colorado kid. He's getting on draft boards for sure. But I think Antonio Reeves, he's for Kentucky, he's averaging 19.5 points a game as well. And then you got Trey Mitchell, 5.9 rebounds. Jonas Ayudo, I can't remember how you say his name, for Tennessee, he's got 7.5 point rebounds per game. However, I think the offense for Kentucky is just a little too much. They average 88.5 points per game, whereas Tennessee is 79.5, and it's not that much, but I think they're going to score more. I also think Tennessee is going to score a butt ton, boatload or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be in the 90s, but I think Kentucky's going to take it out.
I'm glad you picked Kentucky. I'm going to stick with Tennessee, though, because, Kentucky on paper has a better offense, but I think Tennessee has a better defense. So I think Tennessee is going to be able to score at will, but I think when it comes down to those defensive stops, I think it's going to be Tennessee.
Yep.
I think this game is going to come down to the final 5 minutes of who can get stops.
For sure. Yep.
Which I think it's going to come down to Tennessee getting those stops. So I'm going to go with Tennessee.
All right. Well, let's hear your two players here quick. And I know you're picking some Denver guys, so let's hear
first one, picking two Denver guys. First one going Nuggets. I'm going Peyton Watson. He's got the third best defensive rating on the team of players that play 13-plus minutes per game, and he's really been good in the fourth. The Nuggets are 20-4 when he has 2+ steals and blocks this season, which is amazing.
Wow.
In the fourth, like I said, he steps up his game and he makes big plays. He's got 9 steals and 12 blocks. Those 9 steals are third on the team, and the 12 blocks is the most on the team. So he steps up when it matters most.
SWAT.
Yep. I think he's a big factor going into the Nuggets for the rest of the season, but he's playing great.
He's starting to pick it up for sure.
Yep.
I think this is what we saw.
I think it's starting to click offensively for him a little bit too. It looks like he's not shooting amazingly, but he's getting the confidence. He's not afraid of taking the shots, which I think is important.
Yep.
And then finally, my next player, going to Avalanche. We talked about Nathan McKinnon earlier in the podcast, but I'm going to go Logan O'Connor. He's been on a tear recently. He's had 8 goals in his last 10 games, and he had his first career hat trick versus Philadelphia just a few games ago. Been playing.
That was my hat, by the way.
He's been playing great. And then one thing that I thought was surprising is everybody credits the Avalanche's first line of McKinnon, Rantanen, and Nichushkin of being so good. But the line that O'Connor's on, of him, Wood, and Colton, is actually ranked 22nd in the NHL for expected goals.
Wow.
So they're playing really great as well.
It's not something you'd think
about. And I was surprised when I saw that as well. So he's my next player. I think he's going to continue to play at a high level. But those are my 2 players, and
that's awesome. Yeah, definitely go check them out. Hopefully those Colorado guys get it going. But that's all we got this week. Hopefully you guys liked it. We'll try to do better next week for sure. But let us know what you think on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify. Definitely just let us know what you think. If you have anything that you want us to talk about, hopefully here in the next few weeks we'll be getting a couple of guests on, and hopefully it'll change it up, and hopefully you guys all like that.
But we have some little YouTube shorts. We're still sticking with the fun facts. You guys are liking those, so definitely keep a lookout for those. And we appreciate you guys listening, and we can't wait for the next one.
Well, we will see you later, alligators.
All right.
Peace!